We are coming off a crazy week 15 of fantasy football, which means that it is time to prepare for week 16 fantasy football. We're going to go through the top 10 running back rankings of week 16. We're going to go ahead and just jump right in. So at number one, the number one running back I have for week 16 is Derrick Henry. He is taking on the Houston Texans, guys. This one, it's just simple. Derrick Henry versus Houston. It's always a scary sight to see, right? He's the Titans' entire offense at this point, and he had 32 carries and over 200 rushing yards the first time around versus Houston this year. He also has 9 targets over the past 2 games for the Titans, so he's becoming more than just their bell cow as far as running goes. Derrick Henry is going to be a sight to see in week 16. The number 2 running back for week 16 is going to be Austin Ekeler here. Austin Ekeler versus the Indianapolis Colts. It's a plus matchup versus Indianapolis. I love that matchup for my running back in fantasy. Dalvin Cook just gouged the Indianapolis Colts in week 15, both on the ground and through the air. He had that receiving touchdown as well. You should be expecting a volume-heavy performance and likely at least 1 touchdown from Austin Ekeler in week 16. The number 3 running back for week 16 is Christian McCaffrey. He is going up against the Washington Commanders. Not the best matchup, but McCaffrey and Ekeler were so close. They were basically 2 and 2A in week 15. The offense just runs through McCaffrey, man. Christian McCaffrey is the San Francisco 49ers' best piece in that offense so far. And San Francisco just plays such physical football. I can't see a world where McCaffrey doesn't get at least 20 carries and maybe at least 6 or 7 more targets on top of that, even in a tough matchup. The number 4 running back for week 16 is going to be Josh Jacobs. He is taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers, man. Josh Jacobs had a bit of a down week in week 15 versus the New England Patriots. They're a really, really tough defense. Pittsburgh is not. He also still had 25 opportunities in that game versus New England, so that thumb injury didn't seem to affect him too much in that game. Like I said earlier, he's getting a much softer opponent this week versus the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I expect to see Josh Jacobs shoulder the workload versus the Steelers. The number 5 running back in week 16 is Dalvin Cook. He is taking on the New York Giants, man. Dalvin is about to hit his stride at the right time for the Vikings, man. He was efficient and dangerous in week 15 versus Indianapolis. He gets another plus matchup here in week 16. And with a potentially hobbled Justin Jefferson, I expect Dalvin to see a bunch of targets and a bunch of work here in week 16. The number 6 running back in week 16 is Alvin Kamara versus the Cleveland Browns. I am calling for the Alvin Kamara resurgence game versus the Cleveland Browns here. Even though he wasn't great for fantasy in week 15, Kamara still got back on track with 21 carries in that game. And during his down stretch, he was also seeing a really tough stretch of matchups in that same span. And Cleveland now is one of the best matchups for a fantasy running back. I think that Alvin Kamara is going to have a signature playoff moment in fantasy football for week 16. The number 7 running back in week 16 is Saquon Barkley. He is taking on the Minnesota Vikings. I am also calling for the Saquon Barkley re-emergence against the Minnesota Vikings. Now, I am filming this during the Sunday night game between Washington and the New York Giants, so Saquon might be having a good game. I think he's already scored a touchdown in the game, but Saquon's down stretch has also been a result of bad matchups. He has not had a matchup this good since Houston in week 10 when he got 23 fantasy points in that week. Saquon's going to get a good break here versus the Vikings. My number 8 running back for week 16 is Aaron Jones. He is taking on the Miami Dolphins. Aaron Jones also gets a very good break here versus the Dolphins. Miami is really weak defensively. I personally see Aaron Jones getting a lot of targets in this game. It is going to be a very pass-happy game for the Green Bay Packers trying to play catch-up. I think that Aaron Jones is going to benefit directly from that type of matchup, and I could see him potentially hitting a big touchdown run as well. My number 9 running back for week 16 is Kenneth Walker. He is playing the Kansas City Chiefs, man. Kenneth Walker was really encouraging in week 15, right? Like, even though he wasn't great for fantasy, he also wasn't limited by that ankle injury. He had 17 total opportunities, and he takes on a susceptible Kansas City defense here. I think he's going to see tons of work in this matchup. My number 10 running back, capping off the top 10 running backs, is Rhamondre Stevenson for week 16. He is taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. So it's not a great matchup here, but he was also very encouraging in week 15. He wasn't limited at all against the Las Vegas Raiders, and he was the bell cow running back once again for them. I expect that same type of workload and even some more targets here in week 16, as New England is still fighting for playoff chances. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you play fantasy football and like the video if you enjoyed it. And if you were looking for more ways to prepare for your fantasy playoffs in round 2, click on this video right here and click the link in the description if you're looking to support the channel.